This is a call and a plea to the American people. I am the Arana Nation, as you know. We are here in Buffalo, New York. And what a perfect place to discuss issues concerning America than here in America. Now, the government is once again talking about shutting down, meaning that they can't work together, they can't get along, they can't talk, they can't be reasonable. Neither side. This is Republicans and Democrats. They're just they are just mad with pride, mad with ego. They don't think about what's right for the American people, and they're in a position where they have to work together because now the House of Representatives is run by the Dems, and the Senate is run by the Repubs, and the president is run by the Repubs, and they can't work together now. And now the president is saying he wants to shut down the government, and the House is saying, "Well, we dare you, but we're not going to work with you." And the American people are left in the middle, while these big bureaucrats, and I'm talking about everybody, from the president on down to the lowest clerk in the House of Representatives, while they battle it out and they show their egos and they go on about this and that, the American people are going to be left with no government, but still have to pay taxes to a government that is dysfunctional on both sides. So I'm saying, American people, stand up for yourselves. You're good at that. You're not like the Canadians who don't know how to stand up for anything. But American people, stand up for yourselves. And if the government shuts down, either this year, next year, or at any point in the future, just stop paying taxes. The government shuts down, the taxpayers shut down too. I think that's fair enough. And that will show these people on both sides who are desperate, their bellies are hungry for your tax dollars. Americans pay trillions and trillions of dollars in taxes every year. A lot of Americans don't have anything to show for it. I mean, a lot of the money is spent on foreign wars and on building an empire, which then causes people's countries to destroy. And then as a result, they try to come flock to the Western countries, America, Canada, Europe. I mean, and then we all, like to go on about, oh, the migration and refugees and all this stuff. Meanwhile, we're creating all these wars, tearing up people's countries, tear up Iraq, tear up Libya, tear up Syria, and then all the people come here because we tore up their country. So a lot of it is us to blame. I mean, we like to complain about migration and refugees, and I'll be the first to complain about that, and you know that. But, a lot of the blame falls on us. But Americans pay so much, they don't have a national health insurance. Many Americans are left homeless, and I'm talking about working Americans. A lot of people like to say, a lot of the establishment, neocons, and New Democrats like to say, oh, the best welfare is a job. Well, you got millions of Americans who are working like dogs, 2 or 3 jobs, living in their caravans. So don't go that route with me. Yes, jobs are important, but you need jobs that you can rely on and jobs that will look out for you instead of just simply looking out for their bottom line. Because the workers are the backbone to any employee. You have no workers, you got nothing unless you hire a bunch of robots. And if you do that, then I say we need to tax the robots, and I agree with that. But, Americans are, countless amount of times, you got these big ego politicians threatening to shut down your government. This is your government, America, and you know that. And I admire that big yellow flag with the snake that says, "Don't tread on me." This is your government that should be taking care of you people. But instead, they're taking care of their egos, and they're threatening to shut down, stop paying taxes. Every single American. What are they going to do, arrest all of y'all? I mean, I know America likes to arrest people, and they have a big police state, unfortunately. But, drug crime and all this stuff, the war on drugs and all this stuff in America. But they can't arrest all 350 million Americans. They can't do that. I mean, there's not enough jails that can be built for every single American. So if every single American just said, you know what? Hey, we don't have a government anymore. So let's stop paying taxes. I think that would send a big wake-up call. And by the way, it wouldn't hurt America. The statistics show, And I'm actually praying for a shutdown because the statistics and the history shows that when the government shut down, this is going back to Clinton, this is going back to Obama, even Jimmy Carter, when the government shuts down, the economy actually is a lot more productive and the economy is a lot more hopeful because they know that there's not a big nanny state that's going to come and gouge everything from them and take everything from them and regulate them to death and wrap them and choke them and strangle them like an aborted baby, excuse the pun, but it has to be said, with red tape. So they say, hey, let's get on with it. Let's do what we have to do. So, that's the thing with the shutdown. So I'm saying, Americans, don't put up with this. Force your officials, whether they're Democrat, Republican, write the president, say we need to work together. Whoever you want to blame, that's fine. And I have my certain belief systems. But the thing about it is that you cannot have people who are elected to serve the people. I think all politicians actually, they forget that they work for us. It's almost like an employee. If the employee doesn't show up to work, you don't get paid, employee. If you sit at home, if you wake up late for work, you don't show up. If you have a janitor job, you're supposed to mop the floor, clean the toilets, wipe down the tables, and you don't show up to work, you don't get paid for that day. You don't get anything. So why should we pay the government, and why should anybody come here and say, oh, you gotta blame Pelosi or you gotta blame Trump? Don't just... I'm blaming them all because they all work for us. Trump works for me. Well, I say me. I can say that because I'm a dual citizen. But I don't want to say me. I want to say my American audience. Trump works for you. Nancy works for you. Chuck works for you. Cory Booker works for you. You don't work for him. He's not a landlord and you're not the serf. So if they don't show up to work and they decide they're going to shut the government down and then they actually brag about saying they're going to shut it down, then they shouldn't get paid. And I'm not laying any blame on anybody. So I think that's a great idea. Just don't file taxes for the year if the government gets shut down. Just don't file taxes. Every single American. If every American did that, I know you're not going to do that because there are a lot of people who are either afraid or they may not agree. So that's not going to happen. But if every American, think about it, if every American did that, you would never hear about another shutdown again. They would wake up very quickly, all of them politicians, everyone in the Senate, everyone in the House, the President, the Supreme Court, everybody would wake up. Everybody would wake up. George Herbert Walker Bush would wake up from his grave. Everybody in the government of the United States would wake up quick. So that's my solution to the government knowing that they work for us. And this is the Iran.